I want to welcome you to the Unisys event on putting the L in social and a Lync-enabled social enterprise. Start off with a little bit of housekeeping. The request has been to fill out an evaluation at the end of the form. When you do that, we will turn them in. We'll hand you a Skype card for that. We want this to be interactive, so there's a microphone. If you've got any questions, please ask them during the presentation so we can cover them, because the goal here is to make this beneficial to you guys. And we brought our expert team here and want to make use of them and make use of your time. We have a little change to the agenda, so I want to make sure we cover that to make sure that this is a session that you want to be part of. Gloria Burke, who is our knowledge expert in the area of social, could not make it today, so she was going to be the speaker, but instead we brought a couple of our experts with us. Travis Parker. Travis Parker is our global director and portfolio manager for our unified communications platform Ensemble. And then we have Robert Burnett. Robert Burnett is our global architect for Ensemble, which is our unified communications approach. So what we're going to do today is we're going to start off by sharing with you what we've done with Lync and enabling our own internal social enterprise in communities. We've achieved a #2 rating in the top 10 from Information Week and a lot of other areas on our social environment. A lot of that is due to the fact that we enabled the unified communications portion inside of our communities. And we'll share with you what some of those things look like. And then the latter half of the presentation is really going to be more focused around the Lync and sharing with you our expertise and our experiences that we had in the deployment of our 22,000 Lync users, and share with you some of the products and services and solutions we're offering on Ensemble, which is a holistic end-to-end approach for delivering Lync. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Travis.
Thanks, Bryce. Good. Again, thank you for joining us this morning. I think it's going to be exciting and interactive presentation this morning, and we'll go through this, and we'll have about 15 minutes at the end of the presentation for you guys to ask questions. Again, as Bryce had mentioned, why Unisys has been so successful with social is due to Lync and integrating the real-time communication modalities into our social enterprise. And we're going to start off by showing you a video from some of our senior management on what social means at Unisys.
We all play an important role in Unisys' success, and each of us being socially savvy benefits the entire company. I'm active on my site every day. I check my news feed throughout the day. I read new blogs as soon as they hit. I follow many of our colleagues to stay current on new developments. I share my thoughts and experiences in my blog and in the news feed. Leveraging social computing capabilities in our daily work gives us greater market agility, improves customer service, makes our workplace more efficient, fuels innovation, and enhances our personal development. The key is to be active and open to connecting, sharing, and learning.
Positioning communities as a hub of collaboration at Unisys is making a great impact. Members are getting a lot of value from community-sponsored webinars. We get to learn from our own subject matter experts as they share their best practices and success stories. Plus, we have access to free external webinars that count towards professional recertification. It's a convenient and cost-effective way of growing professionally. Membership engagement is what drives our success as a community. When we share and repurpose knowledge via the community newsfeed and engage members in those conversation threads, the entire community learns and evolves. This constant flow of information is what keeps us on the cutting edge.
You know, there's been a lot of discussion lately about social computing as a key disruptive trend inside of IT. So as the portfolio architect for My Work Services, I wanted to find out if Unisys was developing an offering around this key disruptive trend. Well, I didn't find what I was looking for in the Portfolio Center, so I decided I'd post a question on the Unisys Global Newsfeed to see if anyone had an answer to this. And within minutes, I received key responses from, first of all, from the CTO office, and a second one from TCIS letting me know that indeed a solution offering around social computing was being developed. As a result, I was able to get a clear understanding of the solution directly from those who were actually shaping it. Then I became interested in finding out who inside of Unisys had the skills to support this offering, particularly around SharePoint skills. So again, I used the newsfeed to search for colleagues who had these skills. I posted a simple question, who has skills with SharePoint, and I received over 20 responses from around the world and across all business units. The Unisys newsfeed is definitely helping me to find the right information and to connect with the right people at the right time.
So one of the reasons that we received our number 2 ranking from Information Week was really around adoption. And we're going to go into how Lync helped us enable that adoption amongst our employees at Unisys. But here's I know this is really hard to see, but here's a lot of the trade articles around Unisys and where we've been successful with social. So our social enablement at Unisys is made up of these 4 pillars of strength. And as you can see, Lync and real-time presence and communications is a big part of that. All of you are here for the Lync conference, so I don't think we have to go into detail of what Lync is capable of. But we'll talk a little bit about how Lync enablement within our MySite community and our other communities within the organization have really helped with the adoption of social at Unisys. Obviously, presence indication is a big part of work at Unisys. Being a global company located in 42 countries around the world, we have expertise that spans the globe. And a lot of times, we're working with a customer and we need to reach out and find out information quickly. That used to be delayed over a period of days with email and slow response to email. Now with Lync, the presence-free busy information really gives us access to those individuals real time. Obviously, all the modalities that are built into Lync, the email, IM, telephony, video, and sharing sessions have really enabled our business to excel. The audible name pronunciation is also a big thing at Unisys. We have a lot of nationalities that are represented in our company, and some of the names are very hard to pronounce. So the audible name is a big part of where we've been successful with social and using Lync. And then obviously our employee photo. Our company is about 130 plus years old. We have a lot of people that have worked at Unisys a long time. And it's amazing how many people that I run into, and they say, I've worked with this individual for 15 years, but I've never seen what they look like. So the Active Directory photo enablement into Lync has been a big part of our success. Secondly, our social news feeds and communities are a big part of why we've been successful with social, and the Lync enablement of that has really driven adoption. Again, as you can see here, this is an example of my news feed and some information that's gone back and forth. And you can see Mr. Morris's information up here, where I can immediately initiate an IM session or give him a call in response to his comments. And then another example of where Lync has really helped us is the embedded into our self-support portals. This is an example of our Lync Technology Support Portal where we have enabled a Lync Users Forum where people can post questions and answers about their issues or experiences with Lync. The next part of our presentation is going to be a live demonstration by Mr. Burnett here, and I'll turn it over to him.
So formal.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Turn on
Let me do 5. There we go.
monitor there. There we go. So one of the interesting things that I found when I joined Unisys was that there's a lot of things that Unisys already had. Our customers have been coming to us for about the last 18 to 24 months saying, hey, can you help us deploy Lync? And so that really started the whole idea of Unisys launching a
Hate to interrupt you, but
Yep.
you're not projecting.
Oh, I'm not projecting.
Yeah. It is number 5, so sorry about that.
Let's fix that real quick here.
Much better.
Okay.
Thank
There
you.
we go. So one of the things I found was this, when I joined Unisys, I was like, okay, so how do I get enterprise voice? And they said, well, just go to the website. And I'm like, what website? So I just typed in Lync and search and came up with this Lync website. And so it's pretty much self-service. So I click on request an enterprise voice, and it takes me to a site, gives me a bunch of information on policies and who can get it and what locations and that. But I just wanted to ask for a request. I know I want Lync. I don't want to use a hard phone. I can't do that anymore, so I need enterprise voice. So I submit this request, and so it has all the information, and the way we do it inside Unisys, this is an automatic approval process as long as we have phone numbers in the region or the location. If we've already put a gateway in that location, we already have access to telephony, or we have a SIP trunk with numbers assigned, we can all automatically go ahead and approve those requests. So I can come in here, and if I have an existing phone number, I can say, hey, I want to port my existing phone number, or I can request a new phone number. So I'll just say I want a new phone number. Maybe I'm going to move to New York City, and I don't want a Kansas City phone number anymore. I want a New York City phone number. So I can just come right here and click on New York City, or scroll down the list and see all the available sites that already have numbers available. And so we do tombstoning. We'll take that number if an employee leaves the company. We'll hold on to that number for a period of time, and then after that number's been dormant for a while, we'll then put it back into the pool of available numbers. And so I could click on here, I want an Oregon phone number, and type in some information. If maybe I'm needing a special number or some special information, I could put that in information and click submit. And then on the back side, we basically have automated all this. So once an hour, we have a job that will run and grab those users that have been requested a phone number, provision them, assign them a number, and it takes all the administration headaches away from that. So this is a product that we've got. It's built on SharePoint, and that we basically are going to turn into an ensemble offering for phone number management for our customers, because we know it's a big pain point for large enterprises. And it's something that we've already written, so we just need to turn it into a sellable product. So that's one of the projects that we've got underway in enabling ease of administration for Lync phone numbers.
And then we have one more demonstration. You want to demonstrate one of the challenges that we're faced with, or have been faced with, and most enterprises is determining audio quality. We have a lot of home-based workers. We have a lot of heavy travel users that hop from place to place, and they really don't know when their network is capable of supporting audio. So we've developed another tool that Robert's going to demonstrate here called My Lync Voice Connection.
Yeah, and so if I show up at a customer site, and maybe I'm going to host a meeting there, but I'm not certain. I need to bring in some other subject matters, maybe a SharePoint expert. I need to test this ahead of time to make sure that, can this network even support voice? Or maybe I'm on a MiFi or a hotspot, and I want to make sure that I've got enough bandwidth there to host this meeting. So I can click on that, and I'm not going to run it because it takes a few minutes, so I went ahead and ran this ahead of time. And this is my score. I was plugged in here, and this is an external assessment that I did, and I ran this test, and it shows me the amount of jitter I've got, the amount of packet loss, the amount of maximum response time along that path, and I can dig down deeper if I wanted to. I could dig down deeper because maybe I'm wanting to just understand the availability of a site. So we use this a lot of times with customers where we're getting ready to do a pilot or an online demo, and we're going to host it on our site. We want to make sure that, one, do they have all the right ports open? Do they have enough bandwidth for the number of users that we're going to click on? So I can basically see all the port counts, and it's for some reason.
Yeah, you have to run it to do that. Oh. But I think one of the things that's really important, one of the requests that we had from our end user services system is that we provided a simple results screen. Because a lot of people don't know what jitter is. They don't know what latency is. They just want their phone to work. So we went with the red, yellow, green indicator at the end of the test, so that they know, hey, should I use Lync for audio, or should I use my mobile phone to join this conference? And that's been a big help in our Lync adoption, because when you deploy Lync for the first time, and people really do adopt the tool fairly easy, but when they get burned with audio quality issues, they stop using the tool, and that's absolutely what we don't want them to do. And as you can see here, there's a series of ports that are blocked outbound for audio access, so that could present a problem for audio if we were to launch Lync Audio from here. So I think next we'll transition into the next part of our demonstration, which is really talking about the value of Lync at Unisys. And we've already discussed some of those points with our social enablement. We've already talked about some of the challenges that we had with adoption. The next slide that you're going to see is probably pretty familiar with a lot of the partners here that are talking about the true value in the Lync value proposition. You know, the reduction of telephony cost, reducing your audio conferencing cost. If you have a heavy traveled organization, you can really implement some policies that help reduce travel costs. But where we've seen a big improvement in Unisys as an end user outsourcing company is really our customer responsiveness, and our satisfaction ratios have gone way up as we've adopted Lync. We have over 130 Lync federated partners today, and we leverage Lync to do a lot of things with incident management and doing desktop sharing, the IM communication and modality. A good example is our incident response calls typically used to just be audio. And there's a lot of back and forth. You guys have seen the YouTube video about, you know, so-and-so's joined the conference, so-and-so's left the conference. You know, that's very disruptive when you're trying to resolve a serious technical issue. You don't want to be burdened with all of that chatter in the background. So Lync has really helped drive up customer satisfaction there. And then I think our employee satisfaction has been very high with Lync, with the one-click dialing within the organization. We had a tool before Lync called Corporate Directory, which was sort of a painful way to go about looking up somebody in our global organization. And Lync has integrated that in automatically with one-click dialing. So when we talk about the value proposition of Lync at Unisys, our start down this path was about 18 months ago when we transitioned from OCS to Lync 2010 and really started pushing enterprise voice within the organization. We've been able to really reduce the cost of conferencing. We use a managed conferencing solution today within Unisys, and it runs us about $4.5 million annually to support conferencing within our organization. So with Lync, we've really been able to drop that down through SIP and the centralization of SIP in the organization. We've been able to leverage a lot lower rates when it comes to people dialing in from PSTN. And then employee reimbursed voice expenses. This is where our company's been really successful in driving down costs of the organization through leveraging Lync for our home-based workforce and implementing some policies that require our employees to leverage Lync for audio and using that as their primary communication tool within the company. And then obviously outbound calling has gotten much less expensive by leveraging Lync and our peer-to-peer calling and federated calling. And then you don't really have to tell much about the story with voice infrastructure. A company as old as ours, we had over 17 different models and makes of PBXs out in the field at over 175 locations. That came at a very high cost to the organization, and replacement cost was extremely high. And with Lync, we were able to drive down that cost by 1.2 annually each year. And then we've already talked about the improved productivity, increased employee collaboration, and the real-time customer response. So with all that in mind, Unisys really started getting into a lot of conversations with our existing clients about Lync. And it seemed like every week we were in a major meeting with a Global 1000 company talking about how we've been successful with Lync. They were seeing Unisys come in leveraging Lync for conferencing, leveraging the web conferencing piece and the audio, and they were really excited about how we were able to implement it in an enterprise of our size. So we created a portfolio, our UC portfolio, that was really made up of four key factors of a successful unified communications deployment within an organization. And we found one of the most important pieces is assessment. That seems to be the piece that gets dropped quite a bit, and it's also one of the hardest pieces to basically sell a customer. They just want the tool installed and they want it to work, but they don't realize the importance of infrastructure, user adoption, and selling that high-level roadmap to the executive group. So that is one of our big focuses within our UC portfolio. And then when you talk about advisory, delivery, and management services, we're made up of a company that has over $4 billion in annual revenue each year, with 80% of that tied to our services business. So Unisys has a rich history of providing advisory services to our customers, being able to deliver those solutions, and a rich history in managing applications. So what were some of the challenges that we were faced with? Most of you in this room have probably been faced with a lot of these similar challenges. But one of the biggest issues that we had, again, as I mentioned, infrastructure readiness was a big piece of that. But we also had the inability for the organization to properly calculate the ROI. We got into the OCS voice pilot with Microsoft and a third-party consulting company where we were really successful in getting that pilot up and running, but we really didn't have a lot of guidance on how to develop that ROI and total cost of ownership to present the business case to management. So we've been through a lot of cycles in helping strengthen that case, because our deployment within Unisys was heavily burdened with a network modernization project. We had infrastructure that hadn't been touched in such a long time, but we were trying to do things like Lync and voice over IP, as well as 802.1x and preparing for IPv6. So we had a major network modernization project to undertake. And the great thing is that the savings with Lync basically paid for that within 18 months. Infrastructure readiness, we had a bit of a mention about that. Quality of service is key. Our deployment really focused on rolling out Lync to our home-based users. That was very successful. Most people have very high levels of bandwidth from their home offices, whereas the internal network became more of a challenge and a little bit slower to deploy. One of the biggest issues, and we'll talk about this as part of Ensemble, is navigating the Lync ecosystem. You'll see a slide here in the presentation in a bit that gives you a picture of what the Lync ecosystem looks like. You can walk out onto the exhibition floor. You can see a little bit about what that ecosystem looks like. The great thing about Lync is it's a very open platform. There are a lot of partners that play in the arena. There's a lot of pieces that integrate into Lync. But that in and of itself is a big challenge, one finding the technical expertise that understands how to put it all together, make it work, and provide continual managed services for all those integration pieces. Another big area that we worked with was planning for emergency services and how to adopt that within the organization. And that's a pretty big changing field within Lync, and there's a lot of partners out there that can really help you down that path. And then one of the things that we had to really work with was culture and user adoption. So we had a different approach to Lync than some companies have. We are big on the consumerization of IT. So when we talked about what we were going to do about IP phones and headsets, we went with a consumerization approach or a BYO approach. So our company set a limit for our employees and let them go buy whatever Lync optimized or certified device was on the marketplace. And that's been very successful with our company. And then, so as we move on into our discussion and talk a little bit about what an enterprise's expectation is when it comes to voice, this is what most of them are used to dealing with.
Yeah, we're used to buying up, you call up a partner and we get a Avaya, Nortel, now Avaya, or Cisco, you call up a partner, the partner comes out, they handle everything from start to finish. They'll make sure the phones are on the desk, they'll make sure the people are trained. And really you kind of, when you think about Lync, you have to think about you're going to own all of that. Because as a IT organization, you have to be prepared, and that's a little bit of a cultural change for the telephony folks who are used to, new PBX, somebody rolls in a truck and takes care of that for them, and now they're having to do some of that. And so it's a little bit of a change in the ecosystem and how people are asked to deliver this.
So when you look at like Robert said, when you look at the Lync ecosystem, this is a little bit of a preview of what that looks like. When we go to the next slide here, this is a slide taken from Microsoft.com or Microsoft TechNet that really shows a little bit about what that Lync ecosystem looks like. So when you go back to that traditional PBX model, when you're dealing with one vendor, one support contract, you can see where some of the challenges exist with Lync. So this is a great slide that sort of represents, some of the challenges that you're faced with when you undertake a Lync deployment internally as a company. You've got your installation and training, which you might do with the systems integrator like Unisys or some of the other guys out there. You've got to figure out what you're going to do about your phones and your headsets. You've got a server vendor that your platform is going to run on. You've got gateways to interface you into the PSTN and then video. And then at the end of the day, after everything's up and running, you have to have service management. So when we talk about our solution called Ensemble, this is where we are trying to solve this problem. So Ensemble is our single vendor approach to Lync. It is one vendor, Unisys, that deals with all of those silos that we saw in the previous slide. So one of the things that our customers have been asking us about is, how do we make this work? We went down the road of the pilot, and we're sort of stalled out. We're having problems with quality of service. We're having a problem with end user adoption. How do we get through those challenges? We've been working with a specific gateway vendor, and we've run into some problems. We really need some help. So I think that is where we'll be successful with Ensemble, where we're taking a proven hardware-software configuration solution that you can drop into an on-premise or a cloud-type service and really get up and running quickly on Lync. So that is, Ensemble is really taking all of those pieces, the assessment, services, the installation and training and adoption, all the devices that make up the hardware ecosystem of Lync, and wrapping that all around a managed service by Unisys.
Yeah, and so the idea behind this is that you no longer have to have your own lab. A lot of customers, the best practice for Microsoft is you always have a lab to deploy this, before you ever put it into production. And I can't tell you how many customers I've run into that, they're not doing that, and they're basically running things into production and then having, maybe having an incompatibility or having an issue where, some point in time change is now affecting their ability to make the service work. And so this is a standardized configuration based on the size of the enterprise or the size of the site, and we will be testing and validating all of the components, and then we'll handle that patch management for you. So there's not going to be an issue where we update something and then something gets broken because this item doesn't work with that level of code. So we're really trying to take away that risk. We're trying to accelerate deployment, make it quicker to get deployment. A lot of times you'll find that you start down this road of deployment and you find out that product X and product Y will work, but you've got to do it a particular way, or you've got to find out how to, a particular version of software to make it work. And so you then, as an end user IT organization, are left holding the responsibility to make that work. And traditionally, we've seen 3, 4, 5 month delays trying to roll out a particular feature because you're trying to make something work. And it's not as simple as it
right, and that's
might look at first glance.
Yeah, that's a great example. And we had some internal challenges with our deployment, and I can use one as an example that just really resonates in my mind. Is we were trying to get Lync Mobile Access to work. Well, we were dealing with a hardware load balancer technology. We were dealing with Microsoft TMG, which was a technology they were phasing out, and Lync, and our network infrastructure was based on Cisco technology. And one of the challenges with Lync and the Lync ecosystem is getting all of those partners to work together. So, we had a 4-month engagement to get something that, most people would think that should be simple to work. And that is time and time again some of the type of stuff that we ran into in our early days of the Lync deployment that really made us think that Ensemble would be a great opportunity to take all that R&D that we put into place and build a solution that can work for our customers day one. So one of the we may be asking, well, gosh, I've heard of Unisys, but I'm not 100% sure about what Unisys does. And this slide really sort of talks about some of our pillars of expertise around my work services, our application managed services, and what we do in infrastructure and integrated service management. And Lync and Ensemble fit nicely into what we do as an organization today. So we do a lot of managed exchange implementations and managed application services for our customers. We're one of the largest managed ITSM platforms on the market, partnering with BMC. So we've got a lot of rich expertise in these areas where it makes it really nice for Ensemble to fit in, take our expertise that we've developed over the last 2 years on supporting voice at the level 1 and level 2 service desk, so that an organization can really jump right in and not have to spend a lot of time training their organization to get to a point where users can start effectively using Lync. Another thing about Unisys that that resonates is that we do fall into the Gartner Magic Quadrant in certain areas. Managed mobility services is something that we recently did in the past couple of years, as the challenge of consumerization of IT and mobile devices, and understanding how agencies like in the federal government can securely manage those mobile devices is where Unisys has really played a big role in helping the U.S. government bring mobility into their organization, and also end user outsourcing. One of the big areas of expertise that we have is around service desk, and it surprises me a lot when we talk to our partners at Microsoft, and I explain to them, Unisys is who you're talking to at the end of the phone when you pick up the phone and make a call to the help desk. We actually run the service desk for all of Microsoft Corporation globally. So we have a lot of great success in that area, and Lync is really helping us start to look at modernizing those services to our customers. And then we have been Microsoft Gold Partner Certified since 1998, and if you look at our gold competencies, we have over 10 of those that we hold today. So, and obviously we're very proud about our communications competency, and we think that we have a great set of expertise like Robert here that can help us be successful in the UC portfolio. So when we start to talk about a little bit about Unisys and some of the things that we do, and what we plan to do with Ensemble, I think it's always good to show some of your company may be represented here when we look at our logo slide and some of the services that we do. That 80% of our $4 billion in revenue is tied to these customers that we're very proud to have and want to build upon that.
Yeah, we do a lot of network management for companies that we already manage their network for them, and so one of the services around Ensemble is QoS management. So maybe you found the issue that the networking guys don't really understand what Lync needs, and maybe they're struggling with QoS because maybe they try to use auto QoS or something like that, and they don't have that deep expertise in QoS. So we're offering services around being able to come in and do that QoS assessment, figure out what you need to set, and go ahead and either present you with a report of what the QoS settings need to be changed to, or go ahead and just make those changes for you, and so that we can put those changes into effect and make you successful. Because really, QoS is foundational to making this work. We do a lot of network assessments, but it's a requirement to get QoS working, and it's a pain point that a lot of customers are having. Is how do I get that? How do I get the networking team educated enough to get that configuration done?
Right, and I think as the Lync ecosystem matures and becomes more widely adopted within organizations, you're going to see a lot of automation and a lot of services like what we've done with our provisioning tool, a lot of the work that we're doing around customized reporting. We have so many customers that are asking us for call detail records, much like what you get with your mobile phone bill today. They want to see something like that coming from Lync and interfacing in with the telecommunications providers. So those are things that are really going to resonate with customers and give enterprises much better visibility into what they're doing with voice and some of their communication modalities today. Which if you look at us internally, with our 17 different platforms, all these 150 different islands of PBXs out there, getting that visibility is a big challenge for organizations our size. So what we'd like to do is, we're sort of at the end of our presentation fairly quickly, but we'd like to open it up for questions, and provide you guys some time to ask questions either about the Ensemble offering or about what we've done with social. Again, apologies for Gloria not being able to be here. She's an excellent resource, and we can provide her information if you are really driving to get more information around our success with social.
It's definitely something that should be on your company's radar, and it should be something that you should feel comfortable talking to, you know, if you need help talking to your executives around social and how critical Lync is to that, you know, it really becomes foundational for enabling presence, and then that opens up the door for, you know, doing all kinds of things like crowdsourcing ideas around product development and things like that. That we've got, you know, service offerings around, but without that presence is that enabling engine that allows us to start that whole process.
Right. So what we'd like to do is, if you guys would like to ask questions, we've got some sort of door prizes to give out for those people brave enough that want to ask questions, but you don't have to. And also, as part of our presentation, we are giving away a Surface Pro. So if you played our parlay, Surface RT, sorry, apologies. But we are giving away the Surface RT if you participated in the parlay and filled out the cards as you came in or downstairs. We'd like to get to that point, I'm sure, as well. Any questions out there in the audience? You guys are sort of quiet.